want to hear from the elected officials. They've been working very hard on this. First, Assemblymember Brennan.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren. First, I want to thank each and every member of the community from Windsor Terrace who has come out here tonight to show that we support a full-service supermarket in this community. You know, there are more than 12,000 people who live in Windsor Terrace. We have a very unique geographic location because we're in between Prospect Park and Greenwood Cemetery, divided by a highway, but we're certainly not divided as a community, right?
No.
And in terms of the fact that there is an essential public need that we have just lost. It is a tragedy that Mr. Geller, the owner of the supermarket, decided to exclude the community from any kind of voice. From any kind of voice in relation to this sale. There was, but
technical, sorry.
Got it now? Got it. All right. He went ahead, he got rich on our community and the patronage of all the people here. He dismissed all of his employees inside of a few weeks. He really mistreated his employees terribly, all right, just giving them no severance, no kind of benefit. It was really a tragedy. And now Walgreens has said they will not even be here until sometime in January or February. In the meantime, we have the opportunity to collect thousands of pledges from neighborhood residents so that the next time we have an interaction with Walgreens, we can show a united community that will say, we are going to boycott you unless you give us full-service supermarket. Because that's what we need. This is going to be a challenge for our neighborhood. The July 9th meeting is to establish a bunch of committees, a community planning committee, the Windsor Terrace full-service supermarket committee, so that we can explore every possible avenue to get ourselves a supermarket, a thing that we need. You know, half the population of New York City, and I'll bet you half the population here in Windsor Terrace, does not have an automobile, all right? People have to walk. We have elderly. We have people with mobility problems. We have people who do not have automobiles. We have families. We have all kinds of people who are absolutely completely dependent on for their food on what we had here at Key Food, and now it's been taken away. So we need to show that we can hold Walgreens accountable. We can hold them accountable. We can hold a big corporation accountable to this community, and while we're trying to do that, I know myself and Marty and Brad and Senator Parker will be working with the city government and the state government to explore every avenue to bring in a supermarket into this neighborhood if we can't force Walgreens to be accountable. But we will do everything we possibly can to do that. We will give them the thousands of pledges to demand that they incorporate our just and reasonable demands. Our just and reasonable demands, right? Those are just and reasonable. So I also want to say thank you to the Windsor Terrace Alliance. Thank you for Kensington Windsor Terrace neighbors and all the local residents who are participating and who will participate in an effort to force this company to become accountable to our neighborhood. Windsor Terrace has won many victories because we have stood united in the past and we are united now, right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Do we need a Walgreens in this neighborhood? So what are some of the things that we do need that Walgreens is not going to offer? Give me a few examples.
Hey, Monica, where's your
Grace has one that we need especially. All right, Grace says green beans, right? We need green beans, don't need Walgreens. We need green beans, don't need Walgreens. Come on, you can do better than that. We need green beans, don't need Walgreens. All right, I got one more. You want the other one?
Go for it.
Does it seem like Walgreens cares what this neighborhood needs? So, are we going to shop there when they open? Walgreens doesn't care, we won't shop there. We tried that one. We gave them very reasonable requests, There's a lot of ways that this community can keep its supermarket, many ways. One way, obviously, is for Walgreens to decide that they don't want to execute their lease, and we'll work with them so they can get out of it. We'll work with the owner to bring in a grocery store operator. We did express some openness with them to looking at the site and thinking about whether there's room for a grocery store and for Walgreens. I know not everyone's excited about that, but the most important thing is to get a grocery store on this site, and we are willing to work with them to find a way to do it. But what we have to do tonight, and I just think everyone's saying this over and over again, is they have to hear that this community is serious, because you know what they're thinking. They're thinking, well, they're angry tonight. But maybe they won't be angry, and maybe they'll be angry for another couple of months, and maybe when we open, they'll come out and they'll pick it. But they think that we won't stick around and we won't keep our resolve up. And so what we have to do is everybody here tonight, but not just everybody here tonight, everybody that's here tonight has to not only sign the pledge to boycott, not only sign the petition, but make sure your neighbors and your friends and the people that live on our blocks, if everybody here tonight, it looks like we got a couple of hundred people here, but if everybody here tonight gets 10 or 15 of your neighbors who I know feel the same way as you do to also sign that pledge to boycott, to also sign that petition, now we have a couple of thousand people. And if a couple of thousand people boycott a Walgreens that opens, they are not going to be able to make it in this neighborhood. And hopefully they'll get that message, they'll change their mind, and they'll work with this community to make sure that we keep our grocery store on this site. So I want to add my voice in thanks to Windsor Terrace Alliance, Kensington Windsor Terrace neighbors, and just everybody who came out to Holy Name the other night, everybody that's here tonight. If this community sticks together, we can win. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Jim. First off, I want to say, my wife Jamie and I absolutely love living in this neighborhood. I wish I would have lived here years and years ago. It is a fabulous community. You know that, those of you that have lived here a lot longer than me. And it is essential. One of the reasons why we chose where we chose on Terrace Place was frankly the accessibility of this supermarket right near our home. And Jamie is here. If the workers were here, they'd see her at least 3-4 times a week. And believe me, when you and I both found out, we were all shocked. We did everything we could, I have to tell you, in terms of phone calls to the owner a year ago when we heard the rumor. And when he told me, don't worry, there's nothing happening right now, no one's made an offer, to the day a cashier spoke to my friend who's a teacher who called me on the phone to tell me that they're closing. And then I called Mr. Geller and I said, why are you doing this? Why didn't you give us a chance to see if there was anyone else that might want it in the food industry? His response was, because I wanted the most that I can get, and Walgreens came up with the money. And that's basically it. There are 2 owners of key food stores, as you know, these are all independently owned, that would love this location, that wanted this location. But the amount of money, dollar per square foot, isn't anywhere near what a bank can pay or what a national drug chain can pay. That's the sad reality. So, I think you're absolutely right, Lauren and the committees, to move ahead on these plans. Secondly, I would bombard via email Walgreens headquarters. I think you should direct it to the CEO. We can easily get that email address for you. And I think they have to hear directly from you to them how outraged we are that this is going to happen here without any community input at all. It is true that Walgreens is not in the food business. They're a drug chain. They're pharmaceuticals and health and beauty aids and some groceries. Obviously, they visited us and they shared with us that they're going to expand the grocery offerings, but it is not a full-service supermarket. That is not their business. So, a resident at the meeting we had came up with a brilliant idea I wish it had been mine, but it was someone here that said, why not extend? Where is that person?
They're right there.
Who was it?
We're in the Brooklyn.
Okay, right. Your idea,
Pat.
tremendous,
Her name
Pat.
is Pat.
To take some of this parking lot. They don't need this full parking lot, and have Key Food, or if not Key Food, there are other supermarket chains that want to be here. They're not the only one. Obviously, they know this neighborhood. This is a very, how would you call it? This is a solid middle-income community. So why wouldn't a major chain want to not come here? There's business here. That's why they want to be here. To take some of the lot and to have it used as a full-service supermarket. And one will not carry what the other carries. And people would come here and do all their shopping. Health and beauty aids, pharmaceuticals, for those of you that don't use on Prospect Park West. Excuse me, that's your business where you shop. But if they want to offer it and they come here, that's their right. This is still America, excuse me. But to have full service offering here of food so that whoever wants to shop either one would have a choice. So that's what we're pushing for. On the other hand, what you'll be doing and telling Walgreens they're not welcome here, that's good too. Because that puts the pressure on corporate headquarters to figure out how do they please us. Because if they open and you're not happy, you're not going to shop there, it will, frankly, not be good for them. Because then they'd be forced to close, and that would cause some other things within the corporate enterprises. In the meantime, I want to make an appeal like I did at the meeting. We are looking at every possible site in this neighborhood. If you know of any possible site where a supermarket could be located, then you should be calling my office. I don't know every block, but we've already looked at two spaces. If there is any space at all, please, because there are two Key Food operators, both of them want to open in the neighborhood, and there's other supermarkets that want to open here if we can find a decent space. And a decent space, 6,000 square feet and bigger. So I urge you in the meantime to think about that over the next few weeks. In the meantime, Brad and Jim and I, Kevin, will give it everything we got to be your advocate, and I'll tell you what it means to me. I live here. I want you to say it again. I live here. I depend on this for my life as well. So I'm in it, not just as borough president, but as a proud resident of Windsor Terrace. Thank you all very much.